This is Morning Express, and it is now 8 minutes after 7 right here in Nairobi, Kenya. Coming to you live from our studios in the capital city, which is Nairobi, which is Masai for place of cool waters, and reaching 11 countries within the region. It's time for us to look at the hot topics. And let me go straight to introducing our panel this morning. And I'll start with my extreme left, where we have Eric Omondi. What's the title you gave me, Eric? I couldn't cram it. He gave it to me like 5 seconds before he went on air. He's changed his title again.
Goodness. No, social relationship analyst.
Social. Let me write it down. Social relationship. Social. All right, that's Eric Omondi.
It's so easy to say political analyst. I analyze social relations.
Yes, you know.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
That's good. So what has been a hot topic for you? Let's start there. Before I introduce the rest.
No, you're not gentle. We can't honor him with that word. The guy who raped a kid who is alleged to be a teacher, I think that really got me gutted.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come back to that. In fact, that's top of my list this morning, but great to have you, and karibu sana.
Asante.
We have Lamar Odom, who is a pop culture specialist. At least that's what I got.
Thank you.
And welcome.
Thank you.
What has stood out for you this week, Lamar?
Oh, the Kardashians.
Again?
And Lamar. You
Odom.
know
Lamar.
that he was found in a legal brothel. He had overdosed on herbal Viagra and other drugs.
Herbal?
Yes.
There's herbal Viagra?
There is.
Okay.
How many do you know, Mike?
I only know of the Viagra that and I've only seen it in shops. Please, let's have that very clear.
We are not questioning what you know or not know, but then Lamar was in this really, and he's fighting for his life. So right now, that really got me thinking about these guys and how the Kardashian girls can actually really be a curse to their men, unfortunately.
All right, we'll come to that. Don't want us to discuss it right now. Last but not least, Stevens Mwendo, who is editor with the Pulse.
Yes.
And does many other things.
Right?
He's also, yes, editor with the Pulse, but he's also now a husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many
And I
weeks
saw
now?
his wedding. We actually came up together, and I was telling him how fantastic I thought it was.
Oh, yeah. I saw it on KTN. When was it? Was it on...
At night. I can't
The
remember
Samantha
when.
bridals. Yay!
Very nice.
I missed it, and I will watch the repeat. Yeah.
How do you miss your own wedding? Anyway.
On the road.
What stood out for you,
It's
Stephen?
been a busy week, but I think the one thing that stood out for me, and that's locally, is the old drama again around Rington and MCSK.
Oh, yes.
Everybody in the
That
world.
was like...
And I can see it's all over the papers today.
Absolutely, yeah. So I saw it in the Pulse, and I also read it. It was on Gafla. It was all over.
Yeah.
It was
There's
all
actually
over.
two stories about a woman and then MCS.
Yeah,
many
he's
stories
there's been Masaibu and Ndugu Rington,
Wow.
starring among other things.
Later on, we're also going to look at the Pulse and the Nairobian. But first of all, let's look at some of those things that you've mentioned. And the teacher accused of rape. I know, Eric, you're very passionate about, children and people who molest.
And once, I think the first thing I did when I heard of the story, I told my younger sister, not youngest, but younger sister, I said, make sure you call the school to check on the girls. Because I was thinking, if you're going to entrust an institution of learning with your children, and then an idiot purporting to be a teacher actually drags, the story is gory. The lady's going to the toilet, this guy looks at her, he's like, yeah, he can't help himself, grabs her into the toilet and rapes her in school. In the school toilet.
In broad daylight.
In broad daylight. So
Was it daylight or was it?
The story is, it was prep time, right?
Yeah, prep.
The prep times, and one claim has it that he went and
Got
told
her out of
to
class,
get to the
eh?
office.
Yeah.
He actually sent her out of class or something like that. Yeah.
And from what it sounds like to me, it's something that is done before, and maybe people have been quiet. The second bit of it that was really annoying is that the school kept mum with it for a couple of days. And that really got me thinking.
Yeah, I think for me, actually, that's even more disturbing. I mean, it's bad enough that a teacher, first of all, who is viewed as a father figure. Because when you take your child to school, you assume that the teacher assumes the role of a parent, really, to take care of the child. Now, this same father figure rapes the child. But to make it worse, The school authorities seem to
quiet
be
about it.
quiet about it.
Yeah, I think that really got
All
me.
we can. That happened.
It's been happening. You know, the unfortunate situation with these rape cases or cases of defilement, especially with where somebody is in a senior position. Surely, how the head teacher did not see it fit until kids themselves were carrying placards, and then how they ensured that this child actually showered. So even by the time they took the child to Nairobi Women's, you cannot actually really ascertain that there was rape or there was any encounter because the 72 hours had elapsed. It's really sad when people take advantage of positions of power.
All right, we'll discuss this further, but I want us to just see, there may be maybe somebody walked in from somewhere and they don't know what we're talking about, but we do have that story, and if we can just have bits and pieces of it so that we can look at it further, because one of the things that really, and if you've noticed the last few weeks we've talked about on Hot Topics consistently, is our moral fiber. There just seems to be something that goes wrong one time or the other. So Director, we can just have this play out on some of, well, just bits and pieces of this particular story that we're talking about. And here we go.
Why is he covering his face?
They don't want to be seen.
Somebody.
And we can see there, I guess that's a principal. I wonder what he's saying.
that's a judge.
Oh, that's a judge. Okay. That's the accused who was hiding his face earlier on. And I mean, what goes on in the mind of a teacher who looks at all these girls and thinks that he can do that and get away with it?
Again, it's the same thing you're talking about, morals in a society, and looking at the wider picture, even as we were saying sometimes a few weeks ago, you are finding these things even happening in our hospitals where patients and doctors have relationships. I won't call them relationships, really, whatever it is. And before that, we had, these are minors now, and we had cases where we have lecturers and students degrees for sex or sex degrees, whatever it is. It's morals at the end of the day, and I don't think that's the right direction.
Or maybe they should be, mostly in girls' schools, they should have some sort of security in terms of if the male creepy teacher is on duty, they should have a couple of women, walking around and ensuring that the girls are safe. I don't get how this male teacher was alone calling a girl out and took notice at night.
Imagine.
It's
well,
weird.
I guess it's the assumption that this is a teacher who is responsible. Again, I guess it would bring into question, how do we go about getting our teachers? Is there a background check that is done? Is there a way that we can establish?
He looks like a virile teenager, that man. He looks very needy, like he needs to...
Yeah, and when he just sees this young girl,
yeah, he looks very excited.
Yeah.
He doesn't even look like a
energy
teacher.
somewhere
Yeah, he should maybe be... But anyway, let's
sports
move
teacher.
Should be a PE teacher.
Yeah.
During the day, in the hot scorching sun.
Yeah. Then he'll be all right.
But not at night.
Not at night.
He looks very creepy.
I don't know, maybe as we move away from that, but should we get to a point where we have a vetting system? If you work in a bank, I'm sure they do a background check to make sure that you have no criminal records. Do you have that for teachers?
No, I don't know how it works. I'm not a teacher, but I think especially in a girls' school, you can't have a young fella walking around with an excited front looking for young people to, prey on.
To just call.
I think it's really bad manners. And I think women, women should be more vigilant of the girls. I don't think I'd be comfortable having a bunch of girls in school being supervised by a young fella like that, looking very weird, like that.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy is weird, yes. He's weird.
Weird looking fella.
You see, he's weird looking because now we know what he has done. But I mean, if you met him in the street...
But I'm sure he probably was just weird.
If that guy was walking around my estate and my sisters were at home, I'd really ask him questions. I'd be like, where unatembeaga hapa, unaishi wapi?
He is still weird.
He was just heavy for Lino. It was just hard.
No.
But isn't there then a danger of stereotyping? And
well, look, even in the hospitals now, I have read that if you're female and you had a condition, it's imperative that even as you're being checked by a male doctor, a female doctor is present.
a nurse.
Because these male guys are weird. Okay, so likewise in school, if say there's wanaitwa nini, head of the week teacher, the teacher on duty.
Yeah.
So if this man was on duty,
I think he was on duty actually.
They ought to have had even two female who walk around him and just chungulia. So it's like, Mr. Otieno, anaitwa nani?
I don't.
Mr. Mwanyata. Mr. Nyongata. Mr. Nyongata. Oh, usiende hiyo. Toka hapo kwa
nini kwa choo?
Lakini Filkista, anaenda mahali wasichana ulala. You ought to do that. I think it's very important. So you can't just have him parading and walking around where girls are sleeping. And I think he looks the kind who really likes watching them shower.
Maliza kushawa.
No, training mkuje huku.
Truth be told, I'm sure for him to have reached a point of doing that, he must have
observed these people.
Yeah. And maybe it's something which he played in his mind.
He's creepy.
I would, if I was a principal, I would have his phone number, calling him randomly after every 3 minutes. Hey, Mwangata! Naangalia tu. With the binoculars. That's
on the lighter side of it, but also the school administration, why would they keep this quiet? Why would they give the girl, the 15-year-old, ARVs and the mother is not in the know?
I tell you the things that happen when you're a parent of girls specifically. You know, you can just have a heart attack every time you're called that there's an issue. The long and short, though, is that we need, like you said, to be able to have a certain checking mechanism for those who will live with our children. But more than that, then I think all the teachers need to have a moral background. The other thing, just the other day, 2 weeks ago, a certain teacher in the UK she was actually arraigned in court for having abused her position, because she's the one who's supposed to be. You abuse your position as the person who has authority over a minor. So this also should happen to this guy. He shouldn't walk scot-free. It's totally unfair.
And I think as a result, we should even put stringent measures, especially like Eric says, in girls' schools, where you have, because again, we can't have all female teachers, really, that's not practical. But there should be measures that if they are male teachers, then, and it's not just male teachers. I wonder if it also happens in boys' schools.
It could happen. The thing is, we just need to...
Men are very weird species, though.
They are, but it can happen in boys. I mean, if you think about it, there was a survey I was reading the other day. Majority of boys nowadays, their first sexual encounter is with the house help. I'm not saying that the teachers...
But that has been since Jadi.
That happens.
Yes, and that means the woman is the one who is abusing.
No, maybe the guy is just a little tricky 16-year-old who always looks at the maid like, Sasati! So it's just, I don't think the maid goes around.
No, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. But I'm just thinking, these boys are not like lying. They're just going like, I'm terrified. No. They're sneaky.
They're the ones
They're sneaky.
No, but if he's a minor, he's a minor.
When it's a minor, it's a different story altogether. Then
but
you
the
need
16-year-old,
to employ
that discussion, by the way, Mike, it has happened before. And the one where these guys were having housekeepers helping them out, I think that's another story. However, in terms of looking at the boy child as well, it's important, because then some teachers, even when they're male, they can also just abuse the boy child as well. So it's absolutely important that we look at them in equal measure.
I guess we're just living in a very weird time. And again, like we had said last week, parents come into play. They need to have a more active role. Even if the child is in boarding, I guess there are ways you can look at and talk to the child and know if there's something going on.
Just in closing, I remember when I was in high school, we used to have a chemistry teacher. We nicknamed her Katayon. Katayon would walk into our dorms when she was on duty, but not alone, with a Mr. Kamau. Because the boys would be like, she'd walk in and start giving a lecture. She'd say, young boys, it is very bad out here to be sleeping after you've been paid for school fees. And one of the huge guys would just open his head and say, it is very warm in here, madam.
Ouch.
So because of that, she would do rounds with a male teacher.
Yeah.
And maybe you'd be hiding by the door and say, Nani ameambia Amanda hivyo? Nani utashuka? And then guys would be terrified.
This was in high school?
Yes. But so now you have male guys walking around.
Well, us guys had a very interesting teacher. I don't know if those of us of that time, we had a teacher called Kabetu. And she'd wear very short dresses and whoa. She shouldn't wake you up at 5 a.m.
Schools like those.
I think we know what is
That was Nairobi school. When it was Nairobi school, Patch. Oh yes.
Those guys on teaching practices.
But the thing is, we're disciplined enough to not go beyond just the usual
Looking at
boy.
the skirts.
Oh, look at those legs. But,
But I
anyway,
used to actually think that my teachers were having a crush on me. I'd look at them deep in their eyes, just like,
Oh, really?
"Cut
No,
this
you
topic."
were the
all
one
right,
who was
let's
having
move
a
on. Let's move on. Yeah, let's move on.
I always thought.
Let's move on. Let's move
Then
on
they'd
to
be talking
something
to me and
else.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I miscommunicated. I thought you were trying to
Let's move on.
communicate
Bottom
something.
line, our conclusion is something.
I can't deal.
Order. Something needs to be done about our schools, and our moral fiber is just going out of the door. So let's move on to something else. And Ipsos came out to distance itself from a list that was doing rounds in social media of the 20 most influential people. I don't know if you saw the list. Let me just read some of them. We have number one, apparently, was Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila, William Ruto, Wilson Sosion at number 4 as the most influential person. Evans Kidero, Margaret Kenyatta, Francis Atwoli. Then we have the likes of Olive
There was
Mugenda.
Babu, you know. Where is he? Is he in
Babu Namwambo. Oh,
There was a Babu Namwamba, then there was Babu Owino.
Babu Owino is number 9.
Yes.
According to this list. Number 10 was Kalonzo Musyoka. So I don't know your take on this list, and how do we define the most influential people
But
in
does
Kenya?
popularity make you influential? I don't know if it
No,
does.
I think somebody was just really creative. And this tells you how gullible we actually are in the era of digital media, because people actually thought it's the truth. And some of those people who were mentioned there were actually copying and pasting and, you know, and bragging about their being, you know, being told they are.
It looks like something
you know,
Babu
influential. No, it was. I don't know about Babu funding it, but then it really looked legit until several people were like, no, this is not us. But still, it's interesting how it did look like, because if you look at that list, those people have a certain influence depending on who was asked. Because, I mean, the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, is like number 1 there, and then Rao is number 2 there. Those two people actually have influence.
Okay, Stevens, your take on most influential people. The fact that they're known, there's a difference between, I don't know whether to call
Popularity,
them famous.
be popular and influential are 2 different things.
I think
Absolutely.
I
But those
think
guys are
somebody paid
influential.
for that list.
Yeah,
But they're
it looks
influential.
cooked somewhere.
No, Uhuru Kenyatta is influential. When he says something, people actually do react. Raila Odinga is influential in his constituency. Surely you cannot lie that Babu Owino is not influential. He says comrades do this and comrades jump and do it. So Theon is influential. When he says something about, he tells the teachers what to do, they go and do
Adiambo,
something.
did you make this list?
I did make the list. I'm just thinking,
What did you think of him?
Babu is Babu. I mean,
No, because it's throwing a party for 14 million. I mean,
because he
what's that?
is,
Did
he
it
is,
even happen?
he's a
And the thing
president-
is,
he's a president
when we
of-
talk about most influential, just because many campus guys would listen to him, does that make him most influential? We have so many other Kenyans.
I'm sure that is why he was
You guys
in the list.
dissing him, by the way. Other campuses
But
are
they
dissing
can diss
saying
him, but he
this
still
cannot
will
happen.
influence what they think and
Maybe we
do.
need to define what influential means.
Let's define that here.
Now,
Let's
can-
agree what is influential.
What is it? What is
Can he
influential?
influence opinion and
No, what is
shape
influence?
it? Yeah, can he?
What is influence? Can somebody check?
No, can he be able to make
Just check
people
the
behave a
definition
certain
of
way? That's
influence.
it.
I shall
He
check for
does.
you while we go ahead and define it. But influential, I think,
He
would
does.
probably mean, in my thinking, somebody who is
a
able
trend
to.
setter, a trend setter, right? Somebody who
No,
sets
he
trend.
would make people behave a certain way depending on what he has said.
But that's trend setting, right?
Call
So
it any different way, isn't
it's-
it? But the thing is this, when Babu speaks to comrades, what do? Do they listen? Do they not? When Sosion speaks to teachers, do they listen? Do they not? When Raila speaks to certain people from certain areas, do they listen? Do they not? That would be why we are discussing that list. Fake or not?
Most influential in Kenya, you can be influential
20 most.
where you
20
are
most.
ruling. You are the leader there.
20 most.
When the fact that I am here and I have a few guys behind me and I'm a leader and I influence them towards our decisions and the things we do in the office, doesn't mean that I am all influential.
We're
around
just not
Kenya.
20 most. In fact, Robert Alai was in that list.
Yes, he was in that list.
All right, so what does it say, Mike?
Okay, influential. Dictionaries sometimes are very interesting. It says, and influential here means having a great influence
Again,
on someone or something. But it continues to define and says powerful, dominant,
Yes.
strong, authoritative,
Yes.
but I think for me, persuasive
yes.
is the key word.
Or trend setting. That's why when Kim Kardashian wears something whale-like, you'll see other pregnant women wearing something whale-like because she's. I don't know.
And
Anyways,
the list, what
Anyway,
were they?
the thing is, the truth of the matter is that the list was fake.
though.
Was fake.
But of course, it's interesting. And for me, what it made me do is wonder who are actually the most influential people in Kenya.
but I also think most of our Ipsos Cinebit leads
Oh,
are
there was
quite
Churchill
fake.
as well, by the way.
Sorry?
Churchill was in that list,
Yes,
yeah?
yes. I mean, the list is quite long. I
You
mean,
really
we have.
crammed it.
No, I looked at it.
Am I on that list?
No, you're not.
Or probably somebody was looking for Mashujaa honors from President Kenyatta.
But him himself, he was on top of it.
Yeah, see, President, you're here, so when it comes to Tuesday, I want that thing. What do you call it?
The funny thing, and the bigger picture of this is that it actually has an Ipsos logo.
Yeah,
And is also
everything.
signed by the chief executive officer, apparently.
Yes.
So the bigger picture on this is also this somebody trying to influence us the wrong way, but also a fraudster. Again, we've come back to a
Somebody
moral
get him.
fiber.
Let's get him.
Somebody should get him. All right, let's move on to something else. So it was interesting. I don't know if you've been watching the presidential debates in the US.
Yes.
They've been hotting up, and Hillary Clinton seems to be doing quite well.
She
The
is.
Democrats had their first session of presidential debate. But what was also interesting is that there was one Etemesi, a Kenyan, who wrote criticizing Donald Trump, and Donald Trump apparently actually answered.
Fox
to him.
News.
Yes, on Fox News.
Exclusive.
Absolutely. And if I can pull it out, I don't know what you think of that. And remember, there was a time, although that was rumor, that Donald Trump had said he would ship all Kenyans back to Kenya.
it,
blah,
was
blah,
from,
blah.
it was from
Yeah, I
a comic
remember
site.
the word
It was from a
championship.
comic site, though, that particular one. But Trump, you do know he's a showbiz guru. For him, anything that would trend makes sense for him. And I think he's just finding things to do. I do hope, though, that it's not in jest. You know, the whole Etemesi writing and then the other guy writing back. And Etemesi is known for such kind of articles which are hard-hitting and which nobody wants to do. It's just creating a lot of buzz locally. I'm not too sure if it's creating a lot of buzz right back there.
Well, the fact that Trump actually answered, I think.
The world has become a global village. Anybody can answer. We've had Kagame answering to Levi Kones. We've had people
he
answer.
actually answered the tweet.
So you could tweet Obama and then
And
be like,
he'll
yo,
answer you.
and then he'll answer. It's become such a small village. So
Internet is getting us there.
At
And maybe
least it didn't
for
take
those
2
who may
weeks.
not have read the article, he wrote a 2,000-word article calling Mr. Trump, this is Etemesi, an ugly white supremacist who should hire an editor to refine his nauseating speeches. He added that Mr. Trump was full of attitude but devoid of character in a special article for the New York Times. But you've mentioned that Trump is mainly a showbiz guy. Do you think he's playing this really as per the script? Eric?
I don't know what his intentions are really as of now, but funny enough, he's gaining traction. I've watched his debate, with hands on my mouth. I'm like, what? Seriously? But Americans are known to be a people of the first. They elect first black African-American president. They're very extremists. So I wouldn't really, it's not far-fetched to think that Trump might actually really quite end up becoming president. Americans can surprise you because now they don't feel very well about Obama. I think.
I wouldn't be surprised if he actually started it off as showbiz, then
Because he's winning the Republican side.
he's
He's
actually-
really winning.
But
Yeah,
let
he's
me just
actually
tell you what about the Republicans.
Well, let's talk about...
But they say he has a point, when it comes to not having borders, and because his main campaign strategy, one, is on immigration laws, and he wants to change that. And as per the speech I watched, I think about 2 days ago, he was saying that my issue is not having immigrants coming into the country, but let's have laws that when they come in, at least we know who they are and where they are. So
To me, he's just another popularist, a guy who just jumps on issues because people will get excited and laugh about it. But end of the day, if you punch real points and people can look at you and say he's a leader and he means what he's saying, and it is very practical, that works for me. For this to get to the level of him answering a Kenyan writer, if that can be verified, that's going really
It's
too long.
too long.
It doesn't count.
I think we just need to be happy that Hillary is acing it this time, and that the first world is definitely going to show us that they need to set pace for the first female president
In America.
Yeah, so I think, yeah.
And Trump's answer, just as we finished, was, what does Etemesi even know about America? That guy is just an egomaniacal writer who likes making outlandish statements just to sell his brand. I could slap him 100 times.
How does he pronounce it, Messi, from there?
How did you
Probably Itimisi? Itimisi?
Oh, something.
All right. Eric, not Eric. Stevens.
Yes.
Ringtone. What's the issue with ringtone?
Ringtone is ringing many tones. I
Yes.
think.
Too many tones for my liking.
Too many tones for your liking. The story started really last year, or is it 2 years ago? And we remember that Rington had an issue with the MCSK chairman then, and they had a showdown, and we thought that died. And the point was that artists are not getting what they should be getting. And Rington, and he explains in many articles in the papers today that yes, I'm a member of MCSK and I have a right to speak out. And that's agreed on. But when now matters got twisted last week when news went out all over the blogs and all that MCSK officials were being arrested for
misappropriation of funds.
Yeah, claims in that line, and then all eyes were on Rington, and the bottom of it was that Rington is teaming up with guys, the guys who are being in charge of ringtones, talking about ringtone again, and guys who are against the new agreement that was being signed on Tuesday by the CMOs on artists getting their money directly from Safaricom, Skiza Tunes and all that. Somebody has the details. And then the question was the timing between MCSK officials be said to be corrupt, and the signing of this new thing, which has a lot of resistance from these guys. And now Rington, some audios were released on Rington, blah blah blah, saying that somebody has approached me to finish you, blah blah blah.
Stevens, what really amazes me is lately the WhatsApp groups. And the snitches in there, because everybody has a WhatsApp group for different things. I mean, for example, you are recently formed KEJA,
Entertainment Journalists
Association, which is awesome. Then you can have people in there who the discussions that you're having, or even the downloads that you're having, which are meant to remain within the group, you find that they actually go out. Truly, the recordings that you purport that actually, if you listen to, you think should be Rington, and the other one is supposed to be Maurice. They're like about 4 months old, I think, and they had earlier on been leaked at the point when these people began fighting. But I think it was very good timing to begin that discussion now because of the case that was apparently being opened against the MCSK officials. Here is what I think. Everybody needs to be able to speak out if they feel they are not being represented by the bodies that are supposed to represent them. We cannot say absolutely that all these people are right or wrong. We need to allow people to be able to speak. If Rington is right, then we need to not shut him down because now he is a lone ranger. Trust me, it doesn't mean that he is the only one who is seeing what is up. I think perhaps what should concern us more is the other matter about Rington and that
and the young girl,
damsel who was called
Angel and all that. At the same time, when you see artists who used to be in line with the same, and we saw people like Cutie coming out very strongly and contaminate and say you are using this to
do a new song, perhaps.
Want to get popular and also to get money. You are trying to get money from every side of all this and stuff. But again, Rington, another thing about the young girl, and it's in Pulse, I think we'll get there. But just to talk about it, this young girl comes out and says, I have been dating Rington for quite some time.
I know it was 2 weeks, my friend. These things are
I know
dating for 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, I made it to his current house. She knows the place. She says, I'll take you there. And then she says, I met him on Facebook. She admits, really, I met him on Facebook. I look for him, and Rington comes to Pulse and says, yes, actually, we met on Facebook. I've met her once. He says he met her once. And then the story goes out, and then she releases the audios on the discussions of him telling her, you need to shut up, or I'll call fire from heaven.
So he was threatening?
He said that is not his voice.
Okay, we'll come to that story. We'll come to that story because it's in the Pulse, and we'll hold it right there. But it's interesting that, you know, somebody comes and after 2 weeks they feel they've been going out.
Yes.
But there's also that
2
definition.
weeks.
I remember there's a time we were saying, you know, in a discussion, and we were saying there are times how men think and how women feel are different, because Eric, you might tell a certain lady, hey, let's go have coffee, and she's like, whoa,
We
have a date. But as far as you're concerned, we're just going to have we're just having
Actually,
coffee.
Eric is a social. Eric, how no, Eric, you've told me this before. Maybe just tell us about the date thing.
The date with Rington?
No. Like a chick when she thinks you're dating and you what you're thinking.
As far
I
as
think women don't give value and they don't care for clarity. I think after 89 coffees, before it gets there, you might want to ask, so what's going on? Okay, and if a guy is dodgy and says, oh, you know, I'm getting to know you and blah, 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 then don't let getting to know you get to knowing you like that. And then you start turning around and saying, but you know, it's painful, you've used me. So I think people should talk. So if a lady is watching and you've done 3 months of cakes and coffees, you want clarity.
Get clarity.
Yeah, just ask, so what's your story? Because I'm really tired of coming to Tao and Java. Like, what's going on? And I think a man who really likes you is never afraid to say, you know, I really think we should, you know, move it a step further.
So if he's not saying it, just read between the lines.
Ask the 1,000 questions. I put a post on Facebook the other day and said, women today in Nairobi do not care where you get, say, your money, or how you, is it that you play PS the whole day and you have a Range Rover worth 18 million and you don't do anything, and, you know, they don't care. They don't ask questions. What's your name? How old are you? Why your eyes red? What do you do with yourself? Where do you work? Who do you work with? What do you do? You keep going to Dubai. What do you do there? How is it your windows are painted black? How come you don't talk to your mother? Who is your auntie? Who are your brothers?
Ask the questions. Ask the questions. Let's move on to something else. Now, you do know that we are regional at KTN News, and within the region, Diamond was the winner of MTV Emma African Act.
Yesterday, by the way, the news just broke in the evening that he is currently the winner of that MTV African Act, the same one that you know, that Sauti Sol also won last year. I think it's really an awesome year for Diamond. And you know, just you know, on Monday when he won the other Afrima, when he collected everything, he broke down. And he just, and I'm sure it sounds better in Swahili, you know, just the way he had written that and said it. It just made you realize he is humbled. He can't believe he has come this far, and he just hopes that it can continue. He really, really, you know, he appreciates it.
He's a good artist. He's definitely...
He's deserving. This is his year. I think we just need to applaud him. And then, yes, people need to start voting for him so he can be that international act that we actually need to make him. He's one of ours. It's East Africa, man.
Yeah, Diamond is one of ours, and he's had many rounds in his office doing interviews and all that. He's a great artist. And I think the thing about Diamond, we have had so many Tanzanian artists, very talented, and we love their voices and we love having them here in Kenya. And we always say that the problem with Tanzanian artists then was the packaging. They didn't have music as a business where you can package yourself and say, I want to present myself as this person, and that is what Diamond is giving us. He has a whole team working around the clock around his business, and that is what is making Diamond who he is. His work is now get to stage and sing, prepare for this concert, go to the studio and record. He's not running around looking for where will I get a concert and I think that's helping him.
It's beautiful.
I watched 2 of his shows and I think he's an excellent performer. I keep saying on these shows, success and failure are both predictable and optional. So
but the other day he said he's not gonna sing about he wants to kulewa. because his young
He's now okay.
his young daughter is watching.
Oh, wow.
No, the daughter is
So
not
he's-
watching yet, but
He's
it's all
also
right.
responsible. That's good. Kudos to Diamond. And finally, before we go to the Pulse, Lamar. Very sad story. He was found in a brothel and
Illegal
legal
brothel.
When Adhiambo began earlier in the show, she said that the cast of, I don't know, Kim
The
Kardashian,
Kardashians.
whatever. I wouldn't blame Chloe or any of those guys for Lamar's. He chose, again, failure and success is both optional and predictable. You walk into a brothel, you sniff some stuff, you pass out. You didn't pass out in your house, you didn't fall off a bed. It's predictable.
It was not an accident.
Yeah, chances are after sniffing a whole lot of concussion, you're going to pass out.
Right.
It's a very feasible, clear
You have
plan.
got to understand where Lamar is coming from
I
as a
do
person.
understand. I've read about depression and all those 99 problems he
and
has.
sometimes these things are not a choice that somebody has. I think by the time
Really?
somebody who is by the time you reach where you are, this is a two-time basketball NBA champion. This is a sixth-man champion as well. This guy Kobe actually left playing
I
to
saw
go
that.
to be with him.
Kobe was being kind.
No, he is a brother. He is a friend.
Okay.
And this guy is in a bad
Are you
place.
by any chance excusing?
I'm not excusing it. I
Because-
want us to sometimes look at depression for what it can be.
And that would
And
be...
for this guy, I mean, imagine the guy with all those things, he goes to a brother. I mean,
You choose.
he can't
I
put
know
it
so
anywhere
many
else.
broke people who go to brothels.
Isn't
which
that
is
a choice
equally
that he has made?
Yeah.
Why do you get into depression and go to brothel? I mean, if I wanted to depression right now, would I first thing think brothel? Where are they found in Nairobi?
Are they
They
there?
say, well, this is what they say about us. They say Africans and black people are very ignorant about depression. And that I agree. We don't understand it because we battle things like ninunue majani ama chumvi. So when you get around hanging yourself, people are like, unajinyongea nini? But depression is real. Having said that, he chose not with Chloe. He drove himself, got into a brothel, sniffed some stuff, herbal or non-herbal.
It was Habo.
Okay, whatever it was. And he passed out.
Yes.
Okay? So there are consequences to all the actions. There are consequences. Freedom is not without limit. Hata kwa jirani ukinunua nyumba Karen, you can't be blasting music facing your neighbor's house.
Karen.
They'll call the cops.
They'll get
No,
Nema
I
on
think
you.
it's just really a sad
All right.
situation, though.
Yeah, very
Let's
sad,
pray for him.
very
He's fighting
sad.
for his life. Yeah.
But for me, I think the lesson that I really draw out of all this stuff that comes out sometimes is that joy, happiness, and all those things that we imagine does not come from things. Because these are people who have things. They
Absolutely.
have money,
Yeah,
they
by
have
the way,
fame, they have
yeah.
all that. But bottom line, they're still
Very
empty.
sad.
Yeah, still very sad. All right.
I don't think I'll waste my prayers though. I think we should battle it. Angangane tu vile
He
aliingia.
needs to survive this.
We're
Then
not talking.
probably it will change.
Let's
I don't
move on to
think
the
that,
pulse. Time is running out. So, Stevens Mwendo, this is your neck of the woods.
Oh yeah.
So
Me
the
and my
pulse.
team.
There's a girl.
Great team.
Yes.
She's talking about the girl again.
There's a girl.
As usual, very
There's a
beautiful.
girl.
I'll
Yeah.
say.
There's a girl.
Yeah. And this girl is called Nora. There's some number of people.
Let
know
me
her.
ask, how come you never have, like, handsome guys on the...
Because
Because
boys
it's not our
don't sell.
culture.
It's not-
Boys
it's
don't
just-
sell.
Okay, boys.
But I would. Okay.
Boys don't sell at all. We can go away with your
I
team.
totally agree.
Mike, you should bring a proposal now. We should start a magazine about boys selling here.
You saw Adam shut down, eh?
Yeah. Boys
Yes,
don't
yes.
buy a
No,
thing.
I agree. Boys don't sell because the truth of the matter is when it's a girl here, the guys will obviously enjoy looking at it. The girls will also look and either hate or love.
Yeah, that's
right.
So, but if you put a guy here, they'll be,
Ona-
oh, he's so handsome.
With a
Sipendi in the
six-pack,
next space.
Sipendi top yake. Hii tank top. Lakini mademu kwa wia. Sa eyelashes unaacha tu hivyo.
But look at the
Hata
second
kuna skin poa.
picture inside,
Which one?
which again is
I saw it already.
Is it this thing that
It's
you're
all.
trying out lately? Because there's always been this rare situation lately inside.
But you
It is like
realize,
you're trying
Mike,
that.
you realize that now women can take a picture like this. You know, the money they will be like,
But I do.
now they do the.
I do.
sure what
I did.
You've not seen that? Everybody does that. I'm like, guys at a restaurant eating. Wait,
No,
wait,
can
wait,
we try
wait.
this? No, can we try this?
I'm like, what's that about? Just,
Where's the phone?
They need you to see the curve.
maybe
curve.
the power is a back.
ay, ay, ay.
We never know.
This turning around thing, man.
On page 4, we have the head-to-head dossier of Rington exposed, and there is the girl. Is that the girl who is claiming that
Yes.
they've been going
The
out
one
for
they
2
dated
weeks?
for 2 weeks with, yeah?
For 2 weeks.
Okay.
Karen and back, coffee and back,
Oh,
and now
Jesus.
issues and
Rington should know this, that all necessary truth is its own evidence. This woman is so bright, she even recorded him talking. I've read the conversation. Ati mimi naombeaga mtu alafu nyumba inachomeka, which is very idiotic. So if she has evidence, then he is incriminated. And these young guys are saying,
they just don't realize
I keep saying, you guys in the gospel industry are in the business of winning souls to Christ. You actually determine if somebody is going to go to heaven or to hell. You are not there to wear big goggles and show your prowess in speech and cutting chicks. Cheki, mambo mawili tu nilikuwa nataka niseme. Mambo ya kwanza nilikuwa nataka niseme sana ni kwamba napenda madada wote. You are in the business of winning souls for Christ.
Maybe
this is not
maybe this was a process of winning souls.
No.
Souls to the bedroom.
Here is
and
what,
text.
no,
The chick says she's pregnant.
Here is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Here's what I'm saying.
Sa ulimpatia soul na mimba.
I mean, this
the
is
way Jesus did.
this has been
Mary,
1 week and a half.
Mary Magdalene. By the way, please don't. That's blasphemy.
No, I'm sorry, but here's the thing. These girls know what the hell they are doing. I will
They
not
do.
even
I
listen
think they do
to these
know.
chicks.
Don't-
By the
no,
way,
no.
Mimba or no mimba, they can even actually really just go.
The story I want to read. The story I want to read about
First of all, they're the
Rafton,
ones-
Giuliani, who is the other, Daddy Owen. The story I would like to read. Daddy Owen, after performing, asked people to join him in receiving Christ. That is a beautiful story because he's an ambassador of Christ. That is what I want to read. I don't want to read
These are
at
the devils.
23.
This is a she devil. In
do
fact,
not
they're the ones who are
castigate the
luring
woman.
these people. No, the women are the ones being castigated here. In fact, even remember in the Garden of
That's what I'm saying.
In the Garden of Eden, who was it who brought the fruit?
Apana.
Now,
Okay.
this is a she
Apana.
devil.
Everybody
And
just
you know they have influence Mike, eh?
This is a
You see,
devil.
look at Mike here. He's a young, good-looking man. Mike has the ability to look at the screen, and then some random young chicks who've not got around their mind be like, okay, he's so cute.
And
okay,
that is
he's
why I
so
say they're the
cute."
bad ones. It
If
is not
if Mike goes to his inbox after the show, or Stevens, now he's married, and says, "Hi, Stevens, I have a crush on you," and I'm sure you get those, and I'm sure you've gotten those. It's upon him, knowing his place, especially as a gospel artist, to say, look, it's not in my place to partake of this. Sasa unamuita kwa nyumba Karen, afanye nini? Umwombe.
Come on, my friend.
Both of them are
However,
single
they're
My
single.
father-
They
they're
have-
single. That is not
they're
what his
single,
calling
yes,
is
he
for.
said- No. By the way, Rington has a right to date. Rington has a right also to look at a girl and think they're nice. The same way
right?
that yes, everybody. Kwani where will you get a girl? By atakuwa ameitwa na Mungu mahali
Hapana,
ndio ipatikane.
no.
Really, quite honestly, this she devils, by the way, they need.
They
to
are
find
not
their
a she
position.
devil. By the way, and if this chick is
These are she
listening,
devils.
tell Angel that.
These are she devils. Yes.
No.
They know what it is
Angel
that they're
is
doing.
not
How
a
do you record
she-devil.
people?
yes,
That
because you
have
want to,
anything with.
because you're wondering,
What for?
this man of mtu anasema nataka talanta yangu
Hapana.
iende
You don't
mbali.
record people
Yesu
dating.
talanta
Alafu you say you
yangu
dated for 2 weeks. Hizo ni mchezo.
Yesu and you're talking about moto nachomaga nyumba ya watu
Let
na
me
moto.
tell you, it
That is
is
a
such a
demon. That is a demon. God does not operate like that. Jesus is not a magician. You don't ask him to set someone's house on fire. Then you say, check it, Jesus, burn their house because I've made them pregnant. Burn their house. He doesn't work like that.
Of course
Jesus
he
is
doesn't.
not a
On that
magician.
one- on that one I
So
agree.
artists
I
from the
think
50th time.
let us agree to disagree on this
We
one.
will not agree.
It is a she devil.
Gospel artists are not supposed to be running around with women and impregnating them.
But
Sending
now,
a voice note.
forget about, Eric,
Babe.
forget about gospel artists. We have another story here.
Yeah.
Susumula.
Why is it this
I
women?
never married her. Is this another she devil?
Mo.
Who is
women
Mo?
are
Who is that
crazy.
guy? I'm sorry. I've been out of touch.
We just, and people need to grab the pulse.
The women
today.
are crazy.
Susumila is this guy from Coast, and I know Mombasa watches a lot of this. Susumila is an artist. He's the best
He's a
artist
great one, by the way.
in Coast
Yeah.
right now. He's getting married to this TV girl, beautiful, her face is right there. Then somebody else shows up and says, I was actually married to this guy. Then he says, when were we married in your dreams?
They dated for 2 weeks. I tell you, these she devils, by the way.
Be
I
the
have
light
no feelings
of the
for these
world.
women, no
And,
hell.
and it's very unfortunate, I have to
Hell.
say this, that women beat each other the hardest. Adhiambo should be here standing for women, and she's actually
Not
beating
this
women up.
22-year-old
Look.
who think that you have dated for 2 weeks,
Look.
therefore you are now
Adhiambo, you are not
something.
there.
Hell
You do
no.
not know.
I know.
How do you know? You
We
know
dated
her.
for a while.
No, but how do you know?
No,
they dated
we
for
have
2
looked
weeks?
at these
She knows
things,
Susumila.
I know.
You know
I know
Shimila?
Susumila,
Or
yes.
they dated for 2 weeks?
No, but these things, somebody date 1, 2, 3 times. Sasa sisi tuko pamoja. Oh, what has happened? Oh my God, you Adhiambo, can you help me get to Stevens? By the way, I have the recordings, I have this and this. Go hug a tree. fry an egg, do anything. These guys have a right to date. These guys have a right to life. You do not have to be recording them and making their life difficult. Because why?
I think we'll agree to disagree on this one, but Adhiambo maintains that these are she-devils and they are doing this intentionally.
Go forth and become light of the world.
All right,
not
let's
light
look
of
at
a
the
bedroom in Kaya.
Nairobian. Stevens, let's look at the
the
Nairobian.
pulse.
You need to get the pulse. As in, you'll be reading the pulse and literally your pulse will be shaking like you're shaking in the studio.
I'm really annoyed. Like I'll chase Rington down the road right now. Talk up, anyway. Talk up. I'm so upset.
Your pulse will be pulsing. So please, get the standard. It's got the pulse. Make sure you get it. Let's move on to the Nairobian. And with the top story on the Nairobian is how school covered up rape. Again, we've talked about this guy. And,
But I think they have details, more details and answers to what we are talking about.
Yes.
So guys need to grab the Nairobian. The Nairobian approaches things in a different way that nobody else does, and people just need to read it from there again.
On page 3, I see there's a tight squeeze, and this is talking about ladies who are very figured and very well-toned. Page 3, I
They disagree, but I liked page 4, though, where the Nairobian is talking about this City Mall jewelry shop that
Yes,
discriminates
by the way.
against blacks.
Was
Page
that,
4.
was that Kate?
Page 4, yes.
Where is City Mall again? City Mall. Is it in Westlands? Where is City Mall?
But you know, lately, by the way, there's been this whole situation of racial discrimination in Kenya.
But that
Even just not just this, but also there was an issue about some coffee houses. You saw, in fact, I think you saw the lawyer Donald. He actually wrote about it. He was really pissed off. He was at a certain
Caramel.
restaurant. He was in Lavington somewhere. So yeah, it's not fair. It's not good. But when we speak about it, like when somebody brings it up, and I think we all learn that our money is not black or white, I think.
But this
and
is
at the
my
end of the
question.
day-
Maybe I need to read more of this. I don't know. If I open Ohangla getaway place, okay, and I said I prefer that this Ohangla getaway place is attended by Luos, does that make me a bad person?
Very
I
bad.
think it does, because
Very bad, what do you
why stop anybody who's not Ohangla to come and enjoy Ohangla, yet it's for the public? So really, and this one is a shop which apparently sells jewelry, and what
I
it
went
says
like I
here
want
is
to be free,
Calabar,
they won't give
no
me.
Africans allowed in city shop owned by Wahindi.
And this fella says we wanted to buy some items, went to the shop and realized they don't allow Africans there, but
imagine.
Asians are allowed. And this is Nairobi. Is it
Imagine.
Nairobi? This is Kenya. End of the day.
Yeah, what will happen is that you remember the Chinese restaurant that had to shut down. So I'm sure we'll
That's
have
well,
media,
I think
we'll have
it's
media guys there,
unfortunate,
whatever. So guys, we need to wind up. Thank you so very much. And your plans for the weekend, Eric? Very briefly.
I don't know.
Relaxing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Adhiambo, any concerts happening?
The beauty queens today. I think we will meet there, isn't it? Yeah, the Miss World
Western, huh?
at
I've been
Western. Yeah, you really
Today the
done
Miss
that. We're gonna
World
get there,
Kenya
yeah.
finals at Western from around 8.
Yeah.
And you should come.
You should come. They're beautiful women.
All right, Steve, what's your plan for the weekend? You're going for the
I'm going for that thing tonight.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Will you be going with Mrs. or this is
Of
what?
course, yes. I say
Work,
for
but
two.
she'll come, yeah?
As much as we.
Oh, and your wife is very, very eloquent. But I love women who speak well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys. Eric, I will wind it up right there because today I don't want to give these guys a chance. Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Morning Express. This is where we wind up Morning Express. Stand by for News Hour coming in.